One of the toughest things to do in all of college football is win on the road. When you're a ranked team going into a hostile environment, these fans are ready to knock them off course. Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina, Carter Finley Stadium, and home to the NC State Wolfpack. As we'll see a squad from the SEC, the South Carolina Gamecocks, taking on a team from the ACC, the NC State Wolfpack. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth, as always, by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Guys, let's tee this one up. NC State with the kickoff team on the field and just about ready to start. He'll bring it out. It's Clark. He only needs a sliver of daylight. Oh, what vision. And there he goes. He'll take it to the house. Touchdown, South Carolina. He is headed to the sideline with a little bounce in his step after scoring on that kick return.
And he should have some bounce in his step. How about the effort, weaving in and out, covering all that space, great blocking on the play, and he does the rest. You don't put guys back deep that can't roll. And you could see when he got in the open field, he rolled out.
Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. Looks like he's going to bring it out. Stopped at the 17, and he's probably second-guessing that return. They'll run the RPO and fire to the right. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
The defense came into this one prepared for these quick receiver screen passes. Nice job beating blocks at the point of attack and rallying to the football.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Off the RPO, complete. He'll get it up to about the 32-yard line before he's stopped, and it'll be first down.
Man, that play takes some protection. If you're going to stick it in the belly and that wide receiver is going to run down the field that far, I need some good protection, and I need my lineman not to go downfield. Nice job by the quarterback making the right read, being patient, throwing that strike.
With a first down, they'll snap it from the 32. Leaves it with the back. Slams ahead for a yard out to the 33.
You definitely want to commit to the run game. You want to establish the run game. You want the defense to honor it. But if it doesn't work a little later down the road, you might think about airing that puppy out.
didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. They'll keep it on the ground. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're just going to need more push up front. There was nowhere for that running back to go. The offensive line got moved right back into his lap, and as a result, they lose yards on that play.
The Wolfpack with lots of ground to cover on 3rd down. Looking for a man. It's Bailey. Fires to the middle. And it's incomplete on 3rd down.
3rd and long situations are really hard to convert. The defense knows it's going to be passed. The pass rushers are getting upfield. You're under pressure. You don't have timing. And as a result now, 4th down.
Plays that one perfectly. Exceptional accuracy on the punt. Able to keep them from getting a return, and the ball goes out of bounds. They're going to mark it right around the 20. This place is roaring, and it's going to be so hard to operate under these conditions. They believe they can run right here. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
This defense has got some monsters up front. Individual athleticism. You see guys winning their one-on-ones. They're getting pushed. They're swimming the offensive lineman and then converging on the running back.
Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Using his feet. They could have used a little bit more there. Pick up a 3. It's 3rd and 7.
You know, I really like this QB running the football because I know he's got a lot of speed. He's not the biggest guy in the world, so he's not going to be able to break a lot of tackles. You really got to do a good job of trying to scheme ways to get him out more space.
The Wolfpack faithful screaming at the top of their lungs, desperate for a 3rd down stop. From the gun, wants to pass. He took a hit as he threw it and couldn't deliver the football. It's incomplete and 4th down's coming.
Great job by the defense dialing out some pressure on 3rd down. They hit the quarterback and forced the incompletion.
The Gamecocks decide to punt it away. This will be their first punt of the afternoon. And he's going to get it up to about the 29-yard line before he's brought down. Let's see what they have dialed up as this drive starts from the 29-yard line. Out of the gun, the inside handoff to the running back. Stopped after a pickup of 4. Good run to get it out to the 34.
And that's a really nice play. It's impressive. When it's first down and the defense thinks you might be running the football, you still can line up. You can get some movement at the point of attack and find a little crease for your running back.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. Gets the back moving. On the move, it's Scott. Dragged down, but they'll move the sticks for a first down.
You love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
They'll snap this one from the 42. It's 1st and 10. To the air, it's Bailey. Got a man, it's Grimes.
And frankly, if that's a completion, it's not going to make the end of season highlight reel, but in this game, it could lead to a highlight reel type play. The offensive coordinator may be setting something big up for later in the game.
NC State might think about going for a big one on 2nd and short. They run the reverse. What a tackle in the backfield. He'll lose 6 on the play.
Nice job by this defense staying home, not getting fooled. When the ball goes away from me, I don't just chase blindly across the field. They see the reverse, and I love the speed, the close, and the tackle. They get a tackle for a loss on that gadget-type play.
NC State has work to do to convert this 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. Just too much heat that time, and they knock him down at the 31.
3rd and long situation, we're bringing an extra DB on the field, and we're telling our front guys to pin your ears back and go get the QB, and they get the job done.
Gets it away, good distance, but more importantly, just the direction he wanted. First snap of this drive comes from the 32. Off the play fake on 1st down, wants to throw. Snags it inside the 20. Touchdown, Gamecocks! He broke away from the defense, and they couldn't catch him.
And, man, is that perfect timing. You can tell quarterback drops back. He sees his guy, and he knows he's open. But watch the throw. Deep down the field, Palmer, right in the bread basket. Nice play, nice pitch and catch.
He did a nice job at getting it up in the air early and allowing his guy to run under the football, locate it, and then make a tough grab. That is the definition of an explosive play.
And no chance at a return. Here they'll start this drive at their own 25. Drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. Going to throw it over the top of the D. And the ball was knocked away incomplete, but there is a penalty flag down. Let's sort this one out. Here comes the offense on 2nd down. Back to pass, it's Bailey. With the catch, it's Smothers. Good call, good execution as they move the chains, and they have a 1st down at the 38.
And a great job by the QB finding the running back, get him the football where he can do some damage after the catch, and most importantly, get the 1st down.
He had the perfect play to open the drive, and now they'll snap it again from the 38. The pull and throw off the RPO. He stopped at the 48, a pickup of 10 on the play.
And I love the idea of getting this guy screen throws because of his ability after the catch. So nice job getting downfield, getting a hat-on-hat, and giving him a tunnel to run through.
Here they come, 1st and 10 from the 48. Looking downfield on 1st down. A little screen to the running back. They'll mark him out of bounds right at the 45-yard line.
And he didn't get a big gain. You want to call that play and probably want to get more yards, but you could tell that was super close from seriously busting loose. Nice job running the screen, getting the ball to your playmaker. If he could just make one more guy miss, that might have been huge.
The Wolfpack with a lot of options on 2nd and short. They just keep firing. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact on the play, but no flags. It'll be 3rd down.
And I think on that last play, that's an example of the quarterback trying to predetermine who he wants to throw to, and instead of letting the defense dictate who gets the ball. Man coverage, that guy was not open that time out on the perimeter of the field. Still, he gave him a chance, but that thing had incompletion written all over it from the moment the ball left his hand.
NC State comes to the line to deal with 3rd and short. To the air, it's Bailey. Fires to the right. Boom. It's caught. And this offense is feeling it as they rip off a big chunk of yardage, and they've got it on the 22.
Well, I think on that play you saw why this guy's such a big weapon in this offense. At receiver, he does such a nice job with his routes. He's patient, and he's consistent, and he's got good hands. You don't see him put a lot of balls on the ground. Nice job there picking up the 1st down.
The Wolfpack with a 1st and 10 here. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Quick strike complete.
Well, I know the tight end did some good things after the catch, but got to give the quarterback credit, too, for the location of the throw. Because he put it out in front of his big man, he was able to make the catch and accelerate, creating some distance there between him and the defense.
The give to the back. Fighting off the defender. Pulled down at the 11-yard line as they inch closer and closer to pay dirt.
Defense, man, you got to go low, and you got to chop that tree down, right? Go with the legs, take the legs out from underneath them so he can't continue to churn those puppies out and get extra yards after contact like he did there.
NC State with a fresh set of downs thanks to that running game. Off play action on 1st down. And he was trying to cash in the end zone in this red zone threat, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. He didn't look open as it is, and the QB's trying to make a play, trying to force the ball, but at least he threw it where his guy could catch it or nobody could catch it.
Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. They'll try to get the edge with the toss play here. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. The Wolfpack line up facing 3rd and approximately half a mile. Dropping back, it's Bailey. Under fire. Looking to the end zone. The pass falls incomplete, and that'll be the final play of this quarter. Just about ready to get things started here in the 2nd. We'll see if they continue to flex that muscle.
0.
They'll try to start the 2nd quarter by putting points on the board with a field goal. Good, right down the boulevard. Now the lead is down to 11.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
So after putting 3 on the board, the kickoff team is out there ready to boot it away. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. They'll go to the ground. Defense in the right spot. They stop him after a gain of 2 to the 28.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running backs on the ground.
Got 3 on first down. It's 2nd and 7. And some room to work. And they'll bring him to the ground after a short gain.
Well, the QB decided to keep it on that one. And listen, if you had his athleticism, you'd want to keep it too. Almost every time they run these types of option plays. But he's just going to have to do a good job of understanding when to hand it off, when to pitch it, and try to keep this defense on their heels and read his keys. He's got a lot of talent. Just got to make sure he's making the right decisions moving forward.
Off the bootleg, looking to fire. Bought a little time, lets it go. With the catch, it's Harbor. Good, solid pickup on that one. They've got it out to the 40, and it's first down.
I love when QBs break the pocket and still look to attack. Because as soon as you break the pocket, I'm thinking, oh, man, he's going to take off and run, and I might come up. But those big plays can be made down the field. Nice job by the quarterback keeping his eyes down the field.
And the Gamecocks have it with a 1st and 10. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. Now from the 40, it's 1st and 10. Out of the gun, the give to the back. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
Great team defense on that run play. Everybody doing their job. People winning their one-on-ones, D linemen staying in their gaps, linebackers and DBs filling. You just can't do it better.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. They go right back to it. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
If you're going to stop the run game, you better be physical up front on the defensive line. They've got some maulers. They've got some dudes with bad intentions. Nice play there.
Feels as if the whole city of Raleigh is trying to help out the Pack on 3rd down. Trying to get the edge on the right. And the defense had his hands full, but they finally wrestle him down short of the first down. The Gamecocks will call on their punt team. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Kick is in the air. Going to make sure he doesn't get a return on this one as the punt bounces out of bounds. Backed up to start this drive from their own 18-yard line. Looking to throw, it's Bailey. He's got him.
And quarterback dropping back, understanding I'm getting zone coverage. All I got to do is be a little bit patient, manipulate that defense a little bit. My wide receiver runs that drag, and I get the first down.
NC State might think about going for a big one on 2nd and short. Back to pass. Caught near the sticks. It's Anderson. That'll be enough for a fresh set of downs. He gets it to the 32.
Yeah, and you've seen these curl routes. This is a timing route, understanding the ball's got to come out of my hand right when he hits the top of that curl. Nice job by the QB finding him. Nice catch.
They'll snap this one from the 32. It's first down. Draw play, quarterback keeps it. The draw draws nothing except a swarm of tacklers. He's stopped immediately.
And they sniff that draw out. When a draw, you really have to sell that pass like you're going to throw the ball down the field. But the defensive line, the defense was not biting it. You could tell they were ready for it. Came, got on the running back, got him on the ground quick, fast, and in a hurry.
NC State with a lot of ground to cover after losing yardage on the last play. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Looking to fire. That's reeled in. It's Grimes. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly, and that's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
Passing game very effective on 2nd down. What about here on 3rd? Wants to throw. It's Bailey. Got it in the middle. It's Grimes. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the first down.
Well, this offense knew coming into this game they wanted to try to attack the middle of the field in the passing game, and they're able to execute the in route there.
Finally, this offense starting to shake the cobwebs and get things moving. It's 1st and 10. Wants to throw on 1st down. Catch in the middle. It's Anderson. He stopped just a chain link or two away from the first down and sets them up beautifully here. When a defense is in zone coverage, Jesse, they want to react. How do you react to a howitzer coming out like that one?
Not much you can do because this guy's got a cannon. You saw all the eyeballs on defense on that play. They were waiting and anticipating that throw, but when you've got an arm like that, it's going to be tough to stop that throw.
NC State with the 1st and 10 here. Use the play fake. Now to throw. Good job to toss that ball out of bounds and avoid the loss.
The offense just has not been able to find a way to get their rhythm going here in the first half. We just haven't seen it in the passing game. That was a really good example of it again. If they're going to score more points in the second half, they've got to make some adjustments here at halftime.
Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. Looking to throw again. Fires to the middle. Intercepted deep in his own end. Well, they didn't let him get loose for a big return, but he still made the big play, and they'll take over at the 17.
QBs have to understand, when I'm throwing against zones, I got to manipulate guys with my eyes. I might have to look one direction to create an opening to throw that ball or zip that ball in. I got to use touch. It's really hard when all eyes are on me, and you could tell the quarterback was not ready and did not make a good throw.
He'll do it himself. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time offensively. The defense coming up with a huge negative play.
Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Caught in the the backfield. It's Bennett. He makes it up to the 20-yard line before going out of bounds.
I love this defense's ability to fight off blocks and rally to the football. They do such a great job pursuing back wide receiver screens to only allow a minimal gain and no first down.
The Wolfpack faithful screaming at the top of their lungs, desperate for a third down stop. He puts a lot of air under it down the sideline. Snags it on the right. Open spaces. And he eluded the defense, and he'll take it all the way. Touchdown, Gamecocks.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. And listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And here's the return. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Take over late in the half, enough time to put together a drive. Back to throw, it's Bailey. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball.
Got to give the defense a lot of credit, man, because they've come into this hostile environment, and they've quieted the crowd down with some of the plays they're making. They've got a nice lead right here, and they're making it hard for this quarterback to go to work.
So now it's second and long. Wants to go up top. Pressure coming. And the defense makes a play, sacking him back at the 10.
I know it's early in this game, but, man, this defense has had their number. They've done a great job, already built a huge lead, now getting this offense in a situation where they got to pass the football, and they better protect their quarterback better than they are right now.
On third and long, no secret what he needs here. Complete downfield. Out to the 32-yard line before he goes out of bounds, and that's the way to give a little start to the drive. And it looks as if they've buzzed down. Replay wants to have another peek at that last play. And you know the standard is indisputable video evidence, and the officials will change the call. The Wolfpack will line up to punt it away. 3 and out, they got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. Not going to take a chance to grab that one as it bounces out of bounds. Plenty of time to work, not any time to waste as they take over here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Pulls it and fires to the left. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7. And the Gamecocks in the hurry-up. Tight end in motion, see how the D reacts. Scanning the field, it's Sellers. Quick screen to the speedster out wide. And it is well blocked as they pick up enough for a first down. Up-tempo for the offense. Looking to throw on first down. A little release to the back. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the first down. Now on second down. Takes this handoff and headed to the right. Offense calls a timeout here. Critically important to make sure they have the right play call and everyone on the same page here. It'll be third and long. the shotgun. He'll be stopped at the 32, still ground to cover if they want to convert, and fourth down is coming. Here's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the first half. And they'll have to settle for a field goal try. And they weren't able to get him in the middle of the field, so now a 49-yarder from the right hash. Never a doubt for this big-footed guy. 49-yard field goal is good.
And listen, y'all know in the booth and everywhere how I feel about kickers. Don't always love leaving it on their foot, so to speak, but nice job executing. He keeps doing stuff like that. I'll keep trotting him out there.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Has enough time to get off a play before we head to the half. Looking downfield, it's Bailey. He's got it down the middle. They bring him down, but not before he gets a first down at the 35. To the air on first down. He tosses one high and deep down the left side. It's incomplete, and they tried to get one on the board before the break and couldn't quite make the connection. So the first half has come to a close. We'll take a break and head over to the halftime show. The Gamecocks will boot it away to start the second half. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. Drive starts from their own 25-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground to start the second half. Surges across the 30, out to the 32, a 6-yard run.
Definitely been tough sledding for this guy, especially in the first half. They gave him the ball a bunch, but they just don't have a ton of yards on the ground to show for it at this point. That looked like a pretty good run, though. You just wondered maybe in the second half, if they keep giving him the football, it may start paying some dividends.
Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch.
Well, at this juncture in the game, and with how the scoreboard looks, no question this offense is going to have to throw to get back in the game, and it's going to be tricky now because the defense is expecting it. You're going to throw into a lot of big zone coverages with everybody's eyes on the quarterback. Not going to be easy.
Grab near the marker. It smothers. Defense caught out of position, and they get him down finally at the 38.
And one of the things I love about this running back is his versatility. He's not just good running the football, but he can catch it as well, and he can make things happen with the ball in his hands. Nice job by the quarterback, getting through the progression, getting it out to his guy, and he does the rest, and that generates a huge play.
Oh, it's picked off. Oh, that's not the way to start a drive. Taking it the other way. The 20. Touchdown, South Carolina. What a play. Not only the interception, but the great return for the score. Just one moment, and all of a sudden, the fortunes turn.
You're in a position where you're about to give up points, and now you flip that around and you put points on the board. Perfectly executed. What do you do in an interception? First guy blocks the intended receiver. Everybody else starts to form a wall where the ball's going. Nice blocking, nice interception, nice return for the touchdown.
Kickoff unit back to work, and they have been busy as they've built this sizable lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. The give on the inside. And he has had a long day at the office, not to mention the backfield, as the defense has been all over him.
This offense has really struggled, and I think you're just waiting for one play, one explosive play to happen to hopefully galvanize you a bit offensively. That's not the case, and there, they try to run the football in the first play of the drive, and it gets absolutely blown up for a loss.
To the air, it's Bailey. Just missed on the connection, incomplete.
This defense is a very well-coached unit, and they're very, very active, and they're very aware of what's going on. Everybody on defense there knew where the quarterback wanted to go with it. Everyone trying to get their hands in the air to swat it down.
The Wolfpack with lots of ground to cover on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Unloads to the wideout. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. Ripping off a pretty good chunk of yardage. They've got it out to the 41 with a first down.
I know the offense is down by a lot here in the second half. You just need one big play, though, to spark the offense, get the confidence going, and they may have found it right there in that completion. Good throw, good catch. Now we got it.
Turning it on. Oh, my goodness, he's still moving. And he'll have to check his fillings after that lick, but he did get the first down.
That's a huge throw for the offense, but they're down by a ton. They're going to need a lot more of that, and it's not going to be easy considering the defense knows they're probably going to be throwing the ball every play here in the second half moving forward.
This offense hasn't found the end zone yet. Starting to move, it's 1st and 10. Wants to throw again. Fires to the wideout. And wings it incomplete.
I don't know about the decision that time by the quarterback. He may have been expecting man coverage, but that time the defense was in zone, and they did a really nice job closing the window. The intended target was not open, and that's why that one fell incomplete.
Sends it back in motion. Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. And that pass will be jarred loose on second down. That brings up third down.
And the big tight end, a lot of times that's a bigger strike zone, a bigger dude, and you could tell they put the hit on him, and that ball came out, and it came to the turf. Nice job playing physical by this defense.
NC State has work to do to convert this third down. To the air, it's Bailey. Got his man quickly. Really strong job by the defense. A negative play on third down. A famous writer once said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Here is a desperate move. He's got it. First down and more. And they reacted well to the completion, but it was too late to keep them from getting the first down.
Well, you got to give this quarterback a ton of credit because he showed tremendous confidence on that throw. That wasn't just trying to throw to the sticks. That was being aggressive and throwing it down the field. Not a high percentage throw, but he had confidence in his guy to win one-on-one, and they keep the drive alive.
He's going to let one fly down the middle. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down.
This offense hasn't been able to generate a lot of points in this one. Here in the third quarter, you're seeing the defense and how much pride they take on being physical. It's not just stopping the run. Guys in the back end flying to the football in the air, getting hits on guys, that time on the receiver, knocking it loose.
Working well behind the sticks on second down. Back to pass. Throws to the wideout. Excellent coverage and good use of the hands to knock it away.
Well, nice job by the defense here in back-to-back plays. 2 straight incompletions. You've given up some yards, and the opponent's in field goal range. This is a place a lot of D coordinators like to send the blitz, because if you sack the quarterback and create a negative play, you knock them out of field goal range.
They were really starting to put a drive together, but after a couple of incompletions, now they need a big play on 3rd and 10. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down.
Really nice 3rd down sub defense there at that time. It's 3rd and long. They're expecting pass, and they're mixing up their looks. They're trying to change the picture pre-snap to post-snap to confuse the quarterback, and now forcing the incompletion, setting up 4th.
Three straight misfires has left them staring at 4th and 10, but they'll try it again. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Takes a shot as he throws, and it never had a chance. Incomplete.
Well, they're unable to come up with that one on 4th down, and I remember this as a player. You practice specific plays on 4th down for those types of situations, and you know all week against the scout team, they've gotten really clean looks, easy to execute against. They didn't get a clean look that time, so you chalk it up to the defense and take note of it next time. You might not run that play again if you're in a similar situation.
Yeah, and listen, the offense has had their way, and they've had so much success and so much production. But listen, at least the defense got a rep. You know, maybe this gets you a spark. Maybe this gets you some energy. Maybe we'll see a little bit more life from this defense.
Yeah, they may not.
Oh, he's got some space.
This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. If you've got the lead in the 3rd quarter and you want to keep it, you got to bleed the clock. Best way to do that, run the football. And you're now seeing this offense call these run plays back to back. They are trying to be physical, and they're trying to stay on the field.
Leaves it with the back. And they'll wrestle him to the ground after a short gain.
And I think this has probably been the most surprising thing of this game so far. This guy's one of the best running backs in the entire country. They just can't get him going. He's never been able to get into a rhythm. You got to give the defense so much credit because they have been able to shut this guy down, and they got to keep that up here in the 2nd half.
After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. Looks as if they didn't get it off in time. It'll be a delay of game. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. And here comes the offense on 2nd down. They'll try the run. And they're able to shove him to the turf as they stop him for a short gain. Let's see what they find in the playbook for 3rd and long from the 43. Here we go. Toss sweep to the right. They stop him short of the sticks, and it'll be 4th down. And the Gamecocks will try to pin them back with the punt. Nice directional kick there like a solid iron shot. And the return man will have no chance as the ball sails out of bounds. We'll see what they can do on this drive as it starts at the 8. Back to throw, it's Bailey. Rushes on him. Hit hard just as he released it on first down and just couldn't get it to the receiver.
That's another example of just really good football. This is why they've built the lead here in the second half. Nice job pressuring the quarterback, making him feel uncomfortable, coming into somebody else's building and keeping it really, really quiet.
Getting deep in the third quarter, minute and a half to go here. Misfired on first down, back to the air on second. This time it's complete. How about that effort to get it out across the 20? They'll mark it at the 21. It's a first down.
Important in the passing game that it's not just receivers doing all the work. You got to get running backs involved. You got to get your big fellas. You got to get the tight ends going too.
Unloads to the wideout. Hauls it in. Building momentum, picking up a chunk of yardage, moving the chains out to the 34.
And that's a really good example of why offensive coordinators script plays. You know the down and distance, and you know which routes can get you to the stick. So there's no wasted time. That coordinator got the play in early to his quarterback, knowing that his players were going to be able to execute.
And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on first down, second down coming.
Not many receivers like to get hit. They just don't, okay? They're prima donnas. That's what they are. That's who they are. Nice job by the defender. You could tell he was catching the football. He was going to put a hit on him to make sure he had to think about something later, and you could see the ball pop out and fall to the ground.
They're dealing with a second and long. They'll throw again after the incompletion. Right on target this time. He's close to the first down, but they're going to mark him just a little short.
I like the decision by the quarterback here. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it to your playmaker. A lot of times he'll dance and make even bigger plays than he did here, but it was still a positive game.
NC State comes to the line to deal with third and short. Motion from the wide receiver. Looking for a man. It's Bailey. Tight coverage and an incomplete pass. The defense knocks it away and forces a fourth down.
Well, after struggling so much in the first half, you thought they would have made some adjustments here at halftime to see if they can open up this passing game. But early on in the second half, you're just not really able to get that done. Incompletion on third down in your own end, you're expecting them to punt.
And the offense will stay on the field. Do you think they're just going to try to make the defense jump? On fourth down, they'll pass for it. Quickly complete. They'll get it to the 48. No need to measure. It's a first down.
And they are showing you their intentions early in the game. It's fourth down. You're in your own end. We're going to be aggressive, and we're not just going to do this early. We're going to do this all game long. Awesome execution on a critical down.
And the quarterback runs out of time, and down he goes at the 38. So the final period starts with a second down play. Looking to fire. Here's a heat. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face third down.
And that's kind of how their day's gone, right? Like they haven't protected their guy up front, and that's why they haven't been explosive and scored a bunch of points, man. Position number one for every offense. Like, if we're going to throw, we got to protect him. And just right there, he gets hit again. He's been sacked several times. Like, this offensive line's got to do a better job.
NC State has to come up with a big play here on third down. Looking to throw, it's Bailey. Under fire. That pass is well off target. He got hit as he was trying to throw, and they can't convert on third down.
And that's just the kind of game it's been for this quarterback in this offense. You got a great game plan all week long. You're watching it throughout practice. You think you're going to have a chance to light up the scoreboard, but they're just not able to hook up. You got to give this defense a ton of credit. They've done a great job in coverage. They've been breaking on passes. They've had their number, and that's why they're leading by as much as they are.
On fourth down, he'll try to toss it. Lets it fly. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. Desperately wanted to keep the ball, but they did not. And the South Carolina offense is back on the field. They had to punt it away on their last possession, but, man, what great field position this time.
I mean, this is awesome. Like, last possession didn't go great. Now you're set up in an opportunity to get some points. Start thinking about what plays I like, Jesse, as I cross the field.
There are a lot of offensive coordinators out there, David, and in this position, they like to take a shot right away and try and capitalize on this field position.
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. From the gun, the ground game. Moves it forward just a bit, a pickup of 1 to the 35.
And here's the mindset if you're on offense. Fourth quarter, you've got a huge lead. Obviously, you're going to run the football, but just be aware of the clock. You don't want to snap it too quickly. You're probably just doing safe runs inside the tackles like you saw right there. You just got to execute. You got to be aware, but you've got this game in hand so long as you don't turn it over.
Now facing a 3rd and long. From the gun, the running back looking for room. And they'll stop him about 5 yards short of the first. Now on fourth down, here comes the field goal team. He's already made 1 field goal, but this one is going to need a big leg. A 50-yard attempt coming. He boomed it through, a 50-yard field goal showing off that powerful leg.
And they just tack on more points to this big lead. Listen, fourth quarter was sitting extremely pretty. All we got to do, not give up big plays, make them earn everything they get the rest this way, and we looking pretty good.
They're really starting to extend that lead as they get ready to kick it away again. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Keeping it on the ground with the single back. He's stopped dead in his tracks again. No running room to be found. They keep trying it and have had very little success.
Yeah, and this offense has to find a way to run the football. They got to get more creative, or whatever that looks like for this offense, something to jumpstart them, because nothing really going on the ground.
Yeah, defensively, though, you got to give them credit, too, because they knew that physically they were going to try to be challenged up front. That was a big MO for this offense coming into it. But the defense, they've risen to the occasion. Their front seven has done.
And the pressure gets there. And down he goes at the 18.
And this defense, they got their ears pinned back. They know exactly what time it is with the big lead in the fourth quarter. They've already got a bunch of sacks on the day today, and they're looking for more.
Now 3rd and long, and trying to play catch-up in more ways than one after that earlier sack. To throw, it's Bailey. And here comes the pressure, and there he goes down again.
And it's simply been that kind of day for this offense. They've had so many struggles, and at this point in the fourth quarter, you're trailing by a ton of points. The defense knows you're throwing it, and they're pinning their ears back, and they're getting after you, as you saw it on that sack there.
Looks as if NC State will have to punt it away. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. The accuracy is perfect, the loft, the aim, like the perfect golf shot. First play of this drive will start from the 31-yard line. They'll run the ball. The clock is on their side.
And I know you can play these late-game situations differently, but I love when you just stay physical. You run the football. You preserve the lead. You got great field position. You're in a great position to salt this clock away and get a W.
From the shotgun, they'll run it. Not a whole lot of progress made there on the short run.
This is an area of the game. On offense, you've got to be able to run the football well. You've got the lead in the fourth quarter, and obviously you're in your own end here, but you want to bleed the clock. You want to stay on the field and keep getting first down, so you have to be able to run it.
Just nowhere to go against this defense to find that single yard he needed on 3rd down.
Great job by the defense. Everybody firing off the ball, hitting their guys, holding their gaps, running to the football, nowhere to go.
The Gamecocks will bring the punt team onto the field. You'd think they would have had a good chance to down that one deep, but the bounce carries it into the end zone for the touchback. They'll snap it from the 20 for the opening play of this drive. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down.
And we've seen a lot of that from this offense, unfortunately. Just quarterback and wide receivers just not in sync. And sometimes it happens and they get out of sync and they don't make big plays. But, man, you're in a huge deficit. You need big plays down the field, so somebody's got to make a play for their quarterback.
Still at their own 20 after that last incompletion. It's 2nd and 10. He lobs one high down the left side. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch.
Well, that incompletion really tells the story of this football game. If you don't score touchdowns, it's really hard to win games. They haven't found themselves in the end zone at all in this game. Throwing it, running it, they have been completely dominated.
The Wolfpack with lots of ground to cover on 3rd down. Looking to pass, it's Bailey. Pocket breaking down. And he was drilled just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
This offensive line is not going to like watching the film back tomorrow when they get the opportunity, because they have gotten beat time and time again up front, especially in passing situations. All of the hits, all of the sacks that this quarterback has taken is the biggest reason why they're going to lose this game.
Down in the fourth quarter, it's too late for empty possessions. They'll go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. The decision to go for it does not pan out.
Man, as a defense, you're like, oh, they're going to draw us offside. They're going to draw us offside. They're not going to go for it. They go for it, and you get the big stop. You've set your offense up. You've turned the momentum. This defense should be feeling really good about themselves.
And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
The offense thought they had a good look to run that play into with the QB, but there's just an example of a defender winning his one-on-one battle and making a tremendous play. Great effort by him.
And the last thing they need is to squander this great field position facing a 3rd and long. Snuff out the threat. A return there would have just been icing on the cake. They'll just have to settle for the cake at the 23.
Reese, I know you're a little bit of a front runner, so you probably would quit. You probably sub yourself out and take yourself out of the game. But I like that they're continuing to fight. Keep fighting. You never know what's going to happen. Actually, you know what? I know you're not going to win, but it doesn't matter. Keep fighting to the very end.
This drive opens up at the 23-yard line. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. He's taking a deep shot late in the game. And it's picked off for the 3rd time today. Didn't really have room to operate on the return, but he hands him the ball at the 32.
And that's kind of what this offense has done all day. They have struggled. They haven't gotten a rhythm. They haven't found a way to get points on the scoreboard. And late in this game, when your defense and your team really needed it the most, Palmer, they throw the INT. And
it's a microcosm, too, of just how dominant the defense has been. They've always been a step ahead. They've been the more physical side, and they've been making plays on the back end. That interception should seal this thing.
Creates a little room. It's loose. Offense scoops it up and still going.
Ooh, definitely dodged a bullet there. Listen, the quarterbacks don't run with the football all the time in practice. They're not used to all that contact sometimes. Have a tendency to cough it up a little bit. A bad play because he coughed it up? Could have been worse, though. Good thing he landed on it.
And the defense snows him under after a very short game.
I'll tell you what, it's really nice at this point in the game if you can lean on your run game. When you have the lead, you've got the football late in the game, you can chew that clock and start to really make that defense have a little bit of panic.
They'll run the toss. He gets it up to the 37-yard line, and let's see if they're willing to gamble on 4th down.
And I'm a fan of this, man. Run the football, eat the clock. We got the lead. This offense has put together a nice day, man. Like just balance, rhythm, timing, play calling, everything has worked. That's why they built this lead. They've had a great day today.
They kick it away on 4th down. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. That is coverage just the way they designed it, and they've got him backed up. And here we go. Final play of the game right here. Dropping back, it's Bailey. Here comes the heat. Ball falls to the turf. The final pass is incomplete, and that's going to do it for this one. Well, this one had all the suspense of a bug hurtling his way toward a windshield, and they did splatter them. An absolutely dominating performance.
You got to give the coaching staff a ton of credit. They obviously had their guys ready to play and motivated right from the opening kick. All three phases we saw, just spectacular football. No mental mistakes, David. You really can't play better than that.
Nah, it's really fun to do this. Come out and just dominate opponents. Start from finish. Nothing to worry about. You just know you're better. You're going to do you, put up a bunch of points, and win by a lot of points.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.